So the jobs numbers on Friday left a lot of questions out there, namely why there was such a big gap between the household survey, which showed total employment rose by 873,000 jobs, and why the payroll survey added only 114,000 jobs. We have been wondering all along, what about those extra 759,000 people, if they're working, why aren't they showing up in the payrolls anywhere? At least some must be going into business for themselves, like Wright Taylor did. She's a vice president for the Miami Heat, but she's also a small business owner, and she's here in a Fox Business exclusive to share what she sees as the playbook for success. And ever since I heard these numbers, I've been thinking, in this economy, you can't wait for someone to create a job for you any longer, or to go out and find the job, especially if you've been out of work for a while. You have to take fate into your own hands and start your own business. I mean, that's something that you and your husband did.
Yeah, and we're fortunate. We weren't out of work at all. He's a physician and I'm a lawyer, so we earn pretty good living. But at the
how did you have time to create a business?
Oh my gosh, time.
Yeah.
Who thinks about time?
Yeah.
But you know, we really saw that there was a niche here, and for us, it's always about opportunity spotting, creating opportunities or developing opportunities out of your ideas or your passions, because that's what you're going to be most committed to. So that's one thing I tell the people when they're changing job situations.
Yeah.
Start figuring out what you like to do and then figure out how to develop it. And that's
so how did you identify this opportunity? You said that there was a real need. How did you figure that out? What is it?
Absolutely. And I dismissed my husband initially, and I'm apologizing.
We all do. Right? Yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
We commute between Atlanta and Miami, and in Atlanta there was a rash of kick-in burglaries. And we have the security system, the cameras and the alarm system, but those are very reactionary. And he's like, somebody's gonna kick in our doors. And I'm like, nobody's kicking in our door. And he's like, no, really. And then he had a couple of patients with domestic violence issues. And so he said, no, we need to do this. And so we fashioned a bar, an interior security bar, which was designer, so it looked nice inside your house, but it prevented people from kicking in. And it had a unique locking mechanism, and we got a patent on it and started selling it this year.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So you just thought there was a rash of something going on in your community. You figured, I'm going to make a business around this. But what if it's something that you don't know anything about? Because it's easy to identify a niche, but you're like, I don't know anything about manufacturing, marketing. How do you figure all that out?
That is totally us. We don't know anything about it. Our technical expertise is not in manufacturing marketing. I started about doing some research. I started talking to people I know about it who have different expertise, marketing, product manufacturing, and those sorts of things, and we just teamed up. It's really about collaboration. You know somebody who knows how to do something else that you're not an expert in, and we started talking to him about it.
The bottom line is that you're taking a big risk, because at some point you had to put your money where your mouth was. Absolutely. And make an investment and bet on yourself. How do you get that courage?
So the second piece of behind the opportunity spotting is calculated risk taking. I think you can skydive, but you can't skydive twice without a parachute. Right. So for us, what that meant was we still have to keep our full-time jobs, and we put a little savings toward it, and then siphon off some money each and every month that we dedicate toward the business and then we set out a parameter on when this should start making money for us and when it shouldn't, and that sort of thing, and how we grow it.
So you were very blessed and lucky in that you had an income in the meantime, and you know, a lot of what we're talking about here is that people who are you know, structurally unemployed, whose jobs have disappeared and they may not be coming back, and rather than waiting for a job to appear, they're trying to create something for themselves. That's really tough.
And this is where those folks fit in the gap here, because the folks that we work with that have helped us, because we didn't have a ton of money to dedicate toward this, are those folks who are friends of ours who were laid off. The guy who works with us in working on the wholesale piece is a friend in sales executive, was laid off and now represents a few different products, and he represents ours as well. And so each and every person, we don't have any full-time employees, but we have these relationships with people where they work with us on a part-time basis to kind of fill the gaps in figuring out what they need to do next, or how they want to do what they want to do next, and then moving on from there.
You know, I think you just explained to us where some of these 759,000 people who said they were working and earning some money, and it wasn't necessarily full-time, and they're not showing up on the payrolls. They're doing stuff like this. Thank you for enlightening us. We appreciate your time. Inspirational.
Thank you for having me.